Welcome back, my loves. We are on day three or part three, depending on if you're doing this live with us or you're binge watching, kind of like Netflix. I hope you at least paused long enough that you did the exercises from part one and part two. So, we're going to start with a little quiz. Tell me, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to achieving your goals? Motivation, clarity, lack of time, life gets in the way, or your kids? I mean, let's be real, we're kidding, but not really. So put your answer in the chat box or comment below, and make sure you have your workbook handy. That is also linked below this video. So far, you have celebrated your successes of 2022. You've released the letdowns as well. I mean, everything can't go perfectly all the time, so we've got to clear out the baggage before we move into this next year. You sent a letter to the future you. You've gotten an aerial view of your life and identified what areas you want to focus on, and you've let yourself dream big dreams for the future and identified on where you need to focus your goals. So today we are getting into the work. We are getting into how to set goals, the best way to set goals, and to make sure that they're aligned with what you actually need. So today's agenda, we're going to learn the three big mistakes that have kept you from success in the past. I'm also going to share an introduction to this my seasons method. This is what I use all the time. And then you are actually going to claim your number one target for Q1, and we are going to put that in writing. So, does this sound familiar? You set a goal, everything starts off great, and then a few weeks later, you've fallen off. You've forgotten that goal entirely. I know my little ADHD brain is like, if I don't have it right in front of my face, it doesn't exist. So, for all my other neurospicy people out there, you might relate to this. Does maybe this sound familiar? You go big. You're all in, right? With your goal, you're going to just revamp your entire life. You're going to work out 3 hours a day. Your house is going to be spotless. You're going to start waking up at 5 a.m. Starting Monday, or maybe after the holidays. Okay, starting today, I'm going to wake up at 5 hours earlier. I'm going to start a new diet. I'm going to do a new workout program, and we're going to start school, and everything in my life is different. New year, new me, right? We're going big. Maybe you've also sounded something like this. It's already the end of the year. I don't know. I'm nowhere near finishing this goal. Nope, not gonna happen. Well, nothing is going according to plan, so I guess I'll just scrap it all, right? There's no point in even trying for this goal because things aren't working out. So if you relate to any of those, you have fallen into three common pitfalls. And my friend, you are not alone. Um, so, one, you've either been working towards the wrong goals at the wrong time. They just didn't fit into your life. They're great goals. You should do them at some point. But in this season of life, it didn't make sense. You were trying to take on too much at once, or you were going it alone without accountability and a framework to support you when you need to pivot the plan, right? Part of planning is pivoting because nothing ever goes according to plan. As a project manager in my day-to-day life, I deal with problems all the time. And while I have beautiful, glorious plans, life doesn't usually go according to plan. So we need to learn how to pivot those, and accountability and support is vital to that. So we talked about the four S's of successful goals earlier, but let's just revisit them. So using the 4S system of goal setting, you can minimize your distractions, proactively put safeguards in place to keep you on track when life happens, and it will happen. And so you aren't derailed and you can continue to achieve your goals without overwhelm, without frustration, without spinning your wheels. That's the goal here. That's what this framework was created to do. So, with the four S's to goal setting success, you can start checking off those goals on your bucket list and build a life you absolutely love living. Okay? That's the goal. That's what this framework was designed to do. So, let's dive right in. So, the first S is selecting the right goals for the season you're in. Now, you might be like, Cassie, what the heck do you mean by a season? Like, you're talking about seasons of the year? Good question, my friend. And let me answer that for you. For our purposes, a season has a few meanings. It's a way to denote a phase that you're in right now. So this could be due to your energy level, it could be due to your environmental commitments, or your overall vibe right now. So it's just a way of summing up what's happening in your life, big picture. So you may have heard, I'm in a season of motherhood, or I'm just in a rough season right now. I actually picked up this word from my sister, who at the time she works in Colorado and kind of this woo-woo thing. And everyone was like, oh, it's a season. And I was making so much fun of her. And then later I was like, oh, yeah, no, this actually makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna totally put this into my system. Um, so I'm in a season of business or a sports season. Life isn't meant to be lived in one continuous goal. We need to have seasons. Things fluctuate. We see this all over in the world. There's sports seasons. There's seasons of the year if you live in the Midwest like I do. So it's a tried and true method, but we're going to apply it to goal setting. So, in terms of goal setting, it helps us define the parameters of the goal. So, I typically use 90 days. I love doing quarterly goals for a season. I live in the Midwest and it has 4 seasons. So, it just makes sense for my Midwest brain, right? But if you, my parents lived overseas in Jamaica for a while, they did not have seasons. It was just hot all the time. So we have the term seasons. Now, why does it matter? Because when we think in terms of these seasons, for us, it's easier to be intentional and realistic with our goals and expectations. We're not talking about the full 365 days of the year. We're talking about 90 days. Thinking of everything as a season adds to urgency and scarcity at the same time. So we know the season will only last for a brief period. So we naturally pay more attention to what we are doing, and it brings awareness to the temporariness of everything. And this only benefits us with our goals because it spikes our motivation, eases guilt, minimizes commitment phobia, and increases our resilience. All good things. We can't go wrong, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say you want to eat healthy. My mind immediately goes down a rabbit hole to the worst case scenario of never eating an ooey gooey smudgy cookie ever again. Catastrophe, right? What is the point of living at that point? Um, I might be a little bit dramatic there, but so I spiral out of control, right? And that spikes my fear and decreases my motivation because who wants to live in a world where they can't ever eat an ooey gooey cookie again? So my motivation decreases as well as my resistance. However, my subconscious is however subconscious it is, I'm actually resisting achieving this goal that I've set for myself. Um, and so let's reframe that with a season in mind. This season, I am going to skip dessert. Now my brain is comforted because it's not forever. There is an end in sight. I know I'm just doing this for this 90 days. I'm trying it out. I'm seeing how it goes. You're and so Maybe let's do another example. If you're in a season of busyness, you need to outsource or delegate. If you aren't thinking in terms of seasons, you may not even realize you're drowning. Or two, you may hesitate to get the help that you need because you feel you have to commit indefinitely. So instead of hiring that cleaning service for the next 3 months while you continue to drown, you say, okay, I am going to do this for this season. This is what I need. I'm going to hire them for these 3 months and then I can reevaluate. It gives us those natural reevaluation points. Got it? Okay, so let's meet the seasons. Let's talk about the 4 seasons in the centered seasons method. The first one is resetting. So this is a season to refuel. It's a season to slow down, reevaluate your routines, how you want to spend your time, simplify your life, create systems, and focus on radical self-care. I feel like resetting is kind of the foundational level. So when I'm feeling out of control, I'm like, okay, I need a season to reset. I just need to kind of systematically look at my life and get some great foundational pieces in place. The next season is reinvention. So this is a season of growth. It's a season of exploration. This may be personal or professional or relational even. You're changing and discovering your true self. Revitalization is a season of doing. It's high performance, high productivity. You've got inspiration with goals set around projects. You are checking things off left and right. This is what you're focused on for the next 90 days. You are in go mode. You are high energy, high focus, high productivity. Then we do a season of rejoicing. So a season of celebration, you get to enjoy the life that you've been living and building. You maybe are more focused on experiences, travels, hobbies, relationships, and being present for the people that you love. So those are the four seasons. Now we're going to get into why the heck this matters. So knowing what season you're in actually helps you set the right goals for the needs that you have today. So if your body needs a season of resetting, but your goals are all productivity goals, that's not going to go well. You're not going to meet your goals. So it's checking in with yourself and saying, what do I need for these next 90 days? And we allow ourselves, we give ourselves the permission to take that because we know it's not forever. I'm not saying I'm never going to be productive again, but I need 90 days to reset, right? So we're aligning our goals with what we need. So how do you know? How do you decide? How do you know what season you're in? Well, I mean, it's mostly intuitive. I believe your season needs to align with your energy. So the easiest way to decide is to ask yourself, how are you feeling? And not like, how are you feeling? Like we ask our people we see, how are you doing? That we ask people that we run into, but like, really, my friend, how are you feeling? Um, if you are feeling burnt out, which a lot of us might be after the holidays from being our jolly holiday selves, maybe you need a season to reset. If you're feeling inspired, you're in a season of revitalization. If you're feeling really restless, it's time to explore some reinvention. And if you're in a season of traveling and maybe you've got a lot of events going on, a lot of times this happens in the summer, you're in a season of rejoicing and you just need to give yourself the permission to just fully be present in that time and not have all of these productivity goals. So that's the first step. Figure out what you are needing. But we're also in this real world, so we can't just drop everything as moms. So it also depends on environmental factors. So take a look at your calendar. What trips do you have in the next 90 days? Do you have deadlines at work, kids' events, and figure out what season that you're in. So why does this matter? Why do I care about what season I'm in? And why would I use this to set goals? Well, the short answer is it helps you set the right goals. If you have the wrong goals for right now, you're not going to actually meet those goals. And that's just going to lead to more frustration on your part. So using this centered seasons framework, you have clarity and purpose leading to more fulfillment. Who doesn't want that? And your actions are aligned. You're able to do less and accomplish more. Hallelujah. Um, so your actions are aligned, you're doing less, you're fulfilled, and you have clarity, purpose, and direction. The alternate, the alternative, and this is probably we've all tried this, is the balance method. Or as I like to think of it, the do all the things all the time and tell everyone I'm fine method, right? Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you've been living in this for a couple of years. In theory, this is what we're trying to achieve. Us perfectly in the center, juggling all the balls, keeping everything in line. And we're moms and we've got this and, we're fine, we're fine, right? But we're not fine. In reality, it's more like this. We're going crazy. We've got sticky notes everywhere. We're drowning in laundry, and we're just trying to survive. And I feel like a lot of this, we're really in this method over the last couple of years. So bringing in the seasons method will help us reset as we go into normal life anymore and get out of this just survival mode. So with the balance method, you're stretched way too thin. You're not excited about your goals because they're often should goals. They're things that the world is telling you you should be doing, leading you to procrastinate, maybe spin your wheels, and really get stuck in survival mode. And nobody wants that. Ew, we can do better than this. We are here to live vibrantly. We are here to live purpose-driven, passionate lives. Okay, so on the other hand, the centered seasons framework leads to ease, flow, freedom, leading to massive action and celebration. Ooh. Okay, so we've talked about how to decide on your season, but one thing I do want to mention is that sometimes there will be conflict between what you're feeling and what your environment is calling for. For example, you may be needing a season of resetting, but there is a big deadline at work and everyone is already enrolled in sports for the season, making it look like a season of revitalization. Um, and so you are, and you have like 3 weeks of vacation at the end, which means it could be a season of rejoicing. So you're just getting conflict everywhere, right? All good things. All good things. We love those. I would still say you're in a season of resetting. So your energy trumps your environment, because that is what your soul needs. And we can only do what we have the energy for. Just because you're in a season of resetting doesn't mean you have to withdraw from the world and stop being productive. Well, that sounds nice for a weekend. It's just not realistic for us long term, right? We've got a lot going on. We are high achieving working moms, right? So a season of resetting means that you're focusing on your self-care needs, and that's the top priority of your list, right? You may have all these other things going on, but your top priority is resetting. It's taking care of you. So now that you are aware, because you've taken time to identify it, you that you are approaching burnout and need to bump up self-care to the top of your list, you can do that. And then you can deliver on your commitments. So in practice, that might look like hiring a cleaning service for the next 3 months, ordering a meal box for this season, booking a spa day, asking a friend to do some carpool, delegating some of those tasks. Basically, you've identified that you need help in this season because you know, and because you know it's just a season, you can prepare accordingly to get the self care that you need while preparing to deliver on what everyone else needs. Because we're the moms, we're the hub, everything runs around us. So once you identify your season, you can align your goals to that season. Okay, so here's some examples. Revitalization, you got home projects, maybe you're trying out a new daily routine, you want to do some different sports or activities, maybe you're starting a business. You might also try, new clothes, maybe you're wanting to try a new hobby, whatever that may be. Resetting can be focusing on creating a meditation practice, decluttering your house, you're cleaning out your calendar, offloading some commitments, prioritizing being in nature, and healthy food choices. Rejoicing, it could look like scheduling some more vacations, really focusing on being present at kid events. So setting different boundaries at work. Maybe you're prioritizing that time, and so you are offloading some different commitments, or maybe you just take a week off and do a staycation by yourself, ship the kids off to grandma, whatever it might be, or you're spending time in nature. Reinvention could look like you are starting a new hobby, you're going to finally read that book that you've been putting off forever. Maybe you're getting a certification, maybe you're pivoting your career, maybe you're starting a business. You'll see that some of these are in multiple ones. It just depends on what your goals are. So another question that I get asked a lot is there a specific order? Nope. Absolutely not. You can do it in whatever order you want because it's all based on your energy. It's what you're needing now. So a goal season is 90 days. You may decide you need to do 2 resetting seasons in a row or 2 revitalization seasons in a row. That's totally fine. It just comes down to what's right for you right now. This is a framework to help you know what to focus on, when to focus on it, and then to give yourself natural checkpoints to come back and say, is this still what I'm needing or do I need something else? So that's it for today. Next steps, identify your seasons and select your goals for Q1. There's a workbook page in there that will walk you through it step by step, and then share your goal in the comments. I would love to know. Email me directly if you don't want to share them publicly. I would love to hear from you, or leave them in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow where we are talking about mindset minefields.